It has been so nice around here, and I kind of feel like winter is over because the entire 10-day forecast is absolutely beautiful. Perfect weather. So like perfect weather in my opinion is like 75 and sunny, and that is what we've been having for I don't know, a couple of weeks now. This is way earlier than normal, and I know that it can definitely get cold again, so I'm not getting my hopes up thinking that like winter is for sure over. But for now, because of this warmer weather and everything is starting to bloom outside and the grass is turning green, I am totally in the spring cleaning mode. And so this morning I am getting some different things done that I don't always do. So one of those things is cleaning my curtains. Now these are obviously white and right in my dining room, and so little fingers get on here with ketchup and, you know, meat and oil and just all the things. So before I wash these, I am spot treating them, just because I know there's probably going to be some spots that won't get out just by washing. And then after I wash them, I'm going to hang them up outside. And I feel like majority of stains can come out just from being outside in the sunlight. So that's the first thing I'm getting going today. I make my own homemade soap in a 5-gallon bucket. I have that recipe on my blog, so I'll link that for you down below if you're interested. This is a great way to save money. I've been making my own laundry soap for over a decade now, and it definitely saves my family a ton of money being able to make it because it is so inexpensive. Now, the next thing I'm making here is some homemade, like, all-purpose spray, because I'm going to be doing a lot of cleaning today in the bathrooms, the floors, the walls, everywhere. And so I'm just going to make a fresh bottle of this homemade cleaner that I can use on pretty much everything. So for this, it's just half water, half vinegar, and about 20 drops of lemon essential oil. I love the way that it smells. I know some people don't love vinegar, but maybe it's just because I'm used to it by now, but vinegar definitely gives me that like clean smell around my house. Oh, and I even use it on windows. It makes no streaks, and so I'm gonna go around and clean all of my windows, my door, my mirrors, and like I said, it's just so much easier to have a spray that will work for everything, so that I don't have to like take a caddy around or switch out my cleaners. So sometimes when I'm doing like a big clean like this, I'll just make a fresh bottle of this and know that I can use it on everything that I am cleaning. One of my favorite things about the weather warming up outside and the sunshine is leaving the windows open. I feel like all winter long, windows are closed. The house starts to feel a little stuffy, and it's just so nice to get everything all aired out. So pretty much all spring long, and even in the mornings in the summer and evenings in the summer, I like to leave the windows open. One time someone told me that actually, like, once you turn on your air conditioner, which we haven't had to turn on our air conditioner yet, but once you do, that it makes more sense, like, you know, electricity wise, to leave your windows closed, because the first thing that, like, when you turn your air on, it's like pulling all the humidity out of your house, and when you have your windows open, obviously more humidity can get in. But I do not follow that rule because I just absolutely love fresh air in my house, and pretty much when it is nice outside, it's the first thing I do when I wake up and the last thing I do before I go to bed. I like to open all the windows. I like to leave the sunroom door open, and sometimes even the garage door, just to have a nice breeze going through the house. As a mom with lots of kids, or even just any kids in general, you know that messes happen all the time, and vacuuming and sweeping are things that you have to do every day. And I end up vacuuming probably most days, but I never move all the furniture and get the corners or behind the table and like those little places that kind of are the things that you do whenever you're spring cleaning or deep cleaning, and it feels so nice to do these things. And something about the fresh, pretty flowers blooming outside in warmer weather has me so in the mood. The next thing I'm tackling is my entryway. Now, during the winter time, we use these baskets under our entryway table to house all of our snow gloves and our hats and scarves and just all of our like snow gear. Now, I am hoping and thinking that we will not need any of these things anymore, so I am putting them away, and now I can actually give everyone a bin again. We have on the other side of this, that's like right out of the film, a little cubby with cubby holes where my husband and my older 4 kids have spots to put their shoes, but during the winter months I've had to keep all of my shoes and my toddler shoes, my baby shoes, all in one bin because the other ones had gloves and hats and scarves in them. So now I'm able to separate shoes out and kind of organize them a little better. So these bins are majority empty, but as we get closer to summer, these will fill up with things like goggles and swimsuits and towels. I love to have all of those types of things right by the front door to make it easy to get in and out during whatever season we're in. So right now during the springtime, they'll be mostly empty, but I will find new things to put in there as we get into the warmer months. We have so many trees on our property, which means we have a lot of dead leaves in our yard and front porch and the garage, and so naturally they get tracked into the house. And so vacuuming and sweeping this room is another constant chore, more so this time of year because of all of the leaves that get in. Now, I'm also gonna finally get around to taking my Christmas wreath or like winter wreath down and switching it out for a more springy one that has some color on it. And I also need to do a little bit of work here on the front porch again, just to get rid of some of these leaves and clean up this area. Now, eventually, my husband will get out here and he will collect all these leaves and put them into bags or burn them or something. Like they won't be like this, but for now, just getting them right out of my front entryway was something that I wanted to get done. Now, the next thing I'm doing is I'm going to do this door. It gets so bad. This is definitely not a spring clean. This is something that I have to do almost weekly, and you would never be able to tell because of how dirty it is. But this door is right off our kitchen, and when it starts to warm up, we use our sunroom so much, and so little hands are always on this door and sticky fingers, and so it's just constantly needing to be cleaned. So working on this door, and now I'm going out into the sunroom. It's time to get this room usable again. During the winter months, I like to bring the cushions in off of the couch and the pillows, and I store those in our basement just because it's kind of weird. Like rain does not get into this room, but if it snows, this whole couch will be covered with snow. I don't really know why, but I like to keep these just to preserve them a little better, even though they are waterproof and like outdoor furniture. I bring them in, but now that it's warm, this room will basically be our second living room. We spend so much time in our sunroom. We'll sit out here in the evenings and read. We have a TV out here. It's actually not out right now, but it will be. And the TV's out there, but not like the box. Like the box that goes for it to like make it work is downstairs, because in the wintertime, we like to watch TV down by the fire and be all cozied up down there. But during the summer and warmer months, it's so fun to like sit out here and still have like fresh air and watch a show at nighttime or like on family movie nights. And we use this table to eat at, and it's just so fun. So definitely needing to freshen this room up again. And I'm also working here in my little herb box. My daughter actually built this, I think it was last year, and she planted a bunch of herbs in it, and I plan to do that again this summer. Well, actually, she'll probably do it again, but I wanted to get all the dead stuff out of there so she can replant, because planting season is definitely coming right up. This sunroom is definitely one of my favorite rooms in the entire house, and I'm so excited that it's warm and we can start utilizing it again. My curtains are done, and because it is such a beautiful day, I am bringing these outside. You can see that trees are still not green yet, but I know that's coming soon. And I can't wait for these to be green. Now you'll see it is so windy when I was hanging these up. These curtains dried in like 10 minutes. But after struggling through a bit to get them on the line, I got them out here. I love air drying things like curtains and linens and sheets and blankets. I'm excited to tell you guys about today's video sponsor, Element. Element is a very tasty electrolyte drink with all the things that you need and nothing you don't. So there's no artificial ingredients, no sugar, no dyes. It's gluten-free and it's super easy to use. You can just add the Element drink packet to your water, or if you want to try it hot, sometimes we use the chocolate flavors and put that in warm milk. But now that we're getting into the warmer season, we'll definitely be going back to the more fruity flavors and adding them into our water. It is really common to have an electrolyte deficiency, even if you are not working out or being like super active. It's important to replace electrolytes. Electrolyte deficiencies can show up in the form of headaches, muscle cramps, fatigue. It can help prevent these things and also other electrolyte deficiency symptoms. So if you guys are ready to try out Element, you can use my link, drinkelement.com/ouroilyhouse. That's DRINKLMNT.com/ouroilyhouse, and I have that link down in my description box below. And Element is offering all of my viewers a free sample pack with any order. So if you use my link, you'll get 8 free samples. This is a really great way to figure out which flavor is your favorite, or a way that you can share Element with a friend. This afternoon I'm getting some buns going, some sourdough hamburger buns, because tomorrow I'm going to be making some pulled pork sandwiches, and so I want to get these started today so that we have buns ready for our sandwiches tomorrow. For this recipe, I'm just mixing together 1/2 cup of sourdough starter, 3/4 cups of warm water, a few cups of flour, a half a cup of melted butter, 3 tablespoons of honey, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 egg. And then I'm going to knead this in my mixer for about 10 minutes. And then I'm just going to let it rise overnight, and then tomorrow morning I can shape these, and I'll add an egg wash on top and some sesame seeds and bake these. As always, you can find all of my sourdough recipes on my sister's blog, Farmhouse on Boone, and also I will link below the bread machine that I'm using. I get lots of questions about that, and it is linked in all of my description box below. After I got my buns going, I went outside to make my first flower arrangement for the year. We have so many daffodils that are in bloom, and I am so excited to have fresh flowers on the table and on the vanities and the side tables and like all the places. Again, it's just one of my favorite things about spring, and as we go into summer there'll be a lot more colors and flowers and variations that I can add into this, but as of right now we have a bunch of daffodils, and so that will make a pretty arrangement for my centerpiece on my table.
Let me get moving.
I am so thankful to the people that owned this house before us, because she planted so many different types of flowers and like blooming trees and bushes, and it's so fun because different things come up all year long. So we had mums that were still in bloom all the way through like late October, and now these daffodils actually came up in February, so just a few short months of nothing, and now we have daffodils. And I remember from the past couple of summers that we will have different things blooming all throughout the summer months too. So I just love that, and I'm so thankful that she planted all those, and probably something that I would have never have done on my own because I don't know, probably don't have time or don't think about it, but absolutely love having all of these flowers. And it's so fun because each year new things come up, and I feel like they have a spread, and we even have like more, and just endless supplies of beautiful flowers and different things to make arrangements all throughout my house. I recently made those pillar candles that you see on my table, and so I will link that for you down below if you are interested in making those. All right, this is the following morning, and my curtains are done and dry. I actually ended up bringing them in last night. It rained overnight, so I'm really glad that I did. I actually saw that in the forecast. I better bring these in. But they are so fresh and so clean, and they smell so good from hanging outside for lots of hours. And so I'm getting these curtains back up this morning. the windows look so bare without curtains, but I have to say I loved the amount of light that I had without any curtains. Part of me was like, do I really want to hang these back up? But I love curtains, and I will definitely eventually be getting new curtains for here and hanging them up higher and wider. I know that my rods are not in the right spot. That's just where they were when I moved in, and I haven't changed it. So they have just stayed in that same spot. But eventually I would like to get something that is more, I don't know, maybe a color or a pattern or something, just because it's already on a white wall. But for now, those are working out pretty well. Said that I was gonna be making pulled pork sandwiches, but honestly, this is a moose roast. But I am going to make a sandwich that's like a pulled pork sandwich and just be using moose meat. So I guess maybe a pulled moose sandwich. I don't really know what you're gonna call this. But anyway, I'm putting a dry rub on my moose roast. I added a little bit of water into my Dutch oven, and I am just going to slow cook this for a few hours while I make up some other things for the lunch. So I'm going to be making some homemade barbecue sauce to go with this, and then also some coleslaw and some French fries. Now, the first thing I'm gonna do though is shape my hamburger buns that I started yesterday. So these have been rising all overnight, and now I'm just going to cut them. It will make 8 buns. So I'm cutting them into 8 equal parts and shaping them. And then, like I said, I'll add an egg wash and some sesame seeds to the top of these and let them have a second rise for a few hours, and then I will bake these. I started out just putting them in the pan, then I decided that I should probably use some parchment paper. So that's why you see that I added that on there. My roast is done. So I'm just removing that from the Dutch oven, and I'm going to let that cool before I shred it up. And I'm just gonna start making my barbecue sauce just straight in my Dutch oven. Now, I don't have an exact recipe for this because I kind of made it up as I went. I've made my own barbecue sauce pretty often, and so I kind of know the consistency that I'm looking for. But I started off by sauteing up some garlic, and I just did leave all of like the juice from the roast in there. And then I added in some ketchup and apple cider vinegar, and then I did coconut aminos. It can be that or like soy sauce, but I always use coconut aminos instead of soy sauce. I did some brown sugar and some mustard, and then I added in a bunch of spices. So I did some garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, and some paprika. I'm just going to stir this all up and let it kind of cook down a little bit. And then I'm just going to shred my roast. Now, the best thing about cooking in a Dutch oven and cooking it kind of slow and long is it makes a really tender meat, and it shreds up so nicely. And then I just added it back into my barbecue sauce, stirred it all up, and then I let it simmer on the stove until everything else was ready. So probably about 30 minutes or so I let this simmer just to get all of the flavors nice and combined together in with the meat. I did not have a brush or anything to have my egg wash on, so I'm just doing it the old-fashioned way with my hands, but still worked out great. Adding my sesame seeds, I'm going to bake this, and then I'm going to make up my coleslaw. every time I make coleslaw, I follow this exact same recipe. It is so good. So sometimes I will slice up my cabbage and do like a head of green cabbage and a large carrot and a red onion. Other times I will just have a bag of like coleslaw mix, which is what I'm using today. And for the dressing, it's a third of a cup of apple cider vinegar, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, a tablespoon of honey, a half a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon of celery salt, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And you just mix it all up, and this makes such a delicious, healthy coleslaw that goes so well with any meal, but really well with, like, I don't know, I'm gonna keep calling it pulled pork, but with that type of sandwich. Now I'm also making up some French fries because, you know, again, goes really well with the sandwich. And so I have here my Fry Daddy, which I will link for you guys down below. And in there I have some lard, which is what I love to use most for frying. And then I will fry up my potatoes, and then all I have to do is add some salt to these. And that's my favorite way to make homemade French fries. My daughter was also in like the spring summer mood, and she's like, "Mom, get cucumbers. I want to make homemade pickles," which is something that she likes to make all summer long, but we don't have any cucumbers in the garden yet because we haven't even planted our garden yet. So I bought her some cucumbers at the store, and she made pickles, which also went very well with this meal. So we had a very, in my opinion, like summery meal. And it was so good and very refreshing on this warmer day. Can you tell that we're all just so excited about warmer days? And speaking of warmer days, we have a bunch of eggs. And so we recently got 25 new chicks because we do not have chickens of our own currently. But my sister, 2 of my sisters have a bunch of chickens, and they have an overabundance of eggs. And so we have been getting eggs from them, and we have so many that I am going to make some deviled eggs. I love having hard-boiled eggs, deviled eggs in the refrigerator. If I thought about it more often, this is something that I would do all the time because my kids will just go to the refrigerator and eat these, like, you know, just as a snack throughout the day. And it's such a good snack for them with lots of protein. So this afternoon I'm going to make about 3 dozen deviled eggs. And so starting off by just boiling these, obviously it's a very simple process of, you know, adding them to some water. I like to add a little bit of vinegar in. That just helps for the white not to crack. And then in my opinion, the best way to make them easier to peel is after you are done boiling them, putting them in an ice bath to cool them down. Then they peel so much better. I'm typically not the best at peeling hard-boiled eggs. It's just, I don't know, I've never been very good at it. I always was jealous when people would like peel it and the whole shell comes off in one, because mine comes out in like 5 million pieces. But I will say putting them in ice water really, really helps. And so I'm just going to make up a bunch of deviled eggs and have these in the refrigerator for a snack. For my deviled egg recipe, I just mixed together some mayo, mustard, and salt and pepper. And I don't really measure it. Again, this is one of those things that once you do it a few times, you kind of know the consistency that you're looking for. So if it looks too dry, I'll add in a little bit more mayonnaise. Now, a lot of times I make my own mayonnaise, but recently we had some that we had for sandwiches or whatever, and there was a lot in the refrigerator, so I just used regular store-bought mayonnaise. So this was a very simple snack to whip up. The biggest thing about this was trying to find the best way to store these, because I didn't really want to stack them all so they wouldn't get like stuck together. But I also didn't want to have like 30 pans in my refrigerator. And so that was the biggest thing. I was like, how am I going to get all of these in the refrigerator, like with room, with everything else that I have in there? But anyway, we ate these up in just a few days. My kids love deviled eggs, and so this is something that I have to remember to continue making as we get blessed with a lot of extra eggs this time of year. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed coming along for a lot of spring cleaning and summer cooking. Even though it's not summer yet, we're just definitely getting in the mood over here. So I hope it gave you guys some good inspiration. And if you guys are new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I get out a new video every single week.